bandits are reigning in the northwest. The Middle Belt is suffering from the crisis of banditry. The country is suffering from choking economic hardship. Is Nigeria failing?
Has it not failed already? You know, as a political scientist that you are, what are the characteristics that you need for a country to be cleared as failed? Is there anyone that Nigeria has not already encountered? I heard recently that some parts of our territory has been overtaken by bandits. That in fact bandits are collecting taxes and tolls in some local governments in Nigeria. So what other metrics do you refer to call Nigeria a failed country? The World Bank recently said that Nigeria's naira is the worst performing currency in the world, or maybe in Africa. Inflation is run away now. 33.2% the last time I checked. If I'm wrong, it will just be a few, points off. There's hunger in the land. There's frustration in the land. Crime is at an all-time high. So what other metrics do you want to use? The only thing that will not make us say conclusively that Nigeria has not failed is that we've not become disintegrated, or we've not gone the way of Somalia.
You made the point that righteousness exalts a nation.
Exactly.
So when righteous men are in power, the people are happy.
And when evil men are in power, the people groan, says the good book.
So we have evil men in power?
I said the people are groaning.
Nzebechukwu, God is a thinker. Development as a godly mandate. Thank you for delivering that lecture.
Thank you for listening.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
The theme for today's class is faith and development, exploring the divine blueprint for society. Faith and development, exploring the divine blueprint for society. So what do I want to do? I want us to delve into an intriguing intersection of faith and morality and societal progress. The idea of development is often framed in economic or technological terms. Yet, throughout the Bible, there is a clear demonstration of God as a thinker and planner, a divine architect of creation, whose work is infused with intentionality, wisdom, and purpose. I am using the Bible as a case study. I am not delving into the Quran because I'm still studying the Quran. I'm still studying Muslim literature. I don't want to delve into it at this time. But as you listen, know that I am a man in search for knowledge. I go into the Quran, I go into the Bible. But I'm more used to the Bible because I grew up with it. And I'm very careful of interpreting the Quran because I'm still learning. But having said that, I use the Bible as a case study, but it applies to everything, whether you are a Christian, a Muslim, or an idol worshiper. The issue here is not the religion. It is the context. I hope you understand. Now, the topic I am treating this morning stems from a lecture delivered by Dr. Chima Amadi, the voice you just heard. Dr. Chima Amadi is a political scientist. He's a political economist. He delivered a lecture recently in Imo State entitled, Nzebechukwu, God is a Thinker, Development as a Godly Mandate. The lecture was thought-provoking. In the lecture, Chima Amadi makes the point. Let me read. He says throughout the Bible, God is portrayed as a thinker and planner. He says the nature of God as a thinker is deeply embedded in the biblical account of creation, showcasing divine wisdom, intentionality, and purpose. He says the divine act of creation reflects God's perfect thinking qualities, demonstrating that the development that God initiated and that we implement at the moment is not just a human pursuit, but an act with celestial underpinnings. He goes on to quote from Genesis verse 1 to 27, saying, as beings created in the image of God, humanity is endowed with the capacity to think, plan, create, reflecting God's own nature. So this is the point that stuck with me in the lecture. I was in the hall while he was delivering the lecture. This point stuck with me. As beings created in the image of God, humanity is endowed with the capacity to think, plan, and create, reflecting God's own nature. That means if we agreed that God made the world, the moon and the stars, that means we have that same capacity to create. And by the time I sat with him to interrogate the point he made, man created cars. Man created television, aeroplanes. He argues that man was born a creationist. That means we have the capacity to create like God. But one question I have not asked him yet, how come the creation by man is dominated by a part, a section of the word? The other section that is not creating, in whose image were they created? You also help me answer some of these questions in this class. So, as creationists,